Hi my angels, and welcome back to my channel. So after I did a whole bunch of get ready with me's during wedding season on my channel a couple of months ago, I had so many questions and comments and suggestions of doing a full-on hair tutorial of how I do my like Hollywood waves. So today I'm going to be showing you guys just exactly that. This is the final look of it. It's so like effortless and it's so classic. This is the kind of hairstyle that you can do in your hair, or like a curling style that you can do in your hair and look back 20 years, 10 years down the line and still be like, do you know what? I really love my hair then. So if you guys want to see how to get your hair like this, then please keep watching. So I'm starting off with straight hair, and personally I love curling my hair when it's straight. And I used my steam pod to do that. I feel like that's the quickest way for me to straighten my big head of hair. But now I'm going to show you the curling technique. And this is something that I did quite a lot this year, especially during wedding season when we had quite a few wedding events to go to this summer. And I had so many questions over on my Instagram and even my YouTube Get Ready With Me's of like, how did you do the hair? And it's very simple. But one thing that you need to do is start off when you've not got any makeup on, because we want to be able to make sure these curls set into place before we go and do anything else to them. So first I'm going to spray some of the Redken One United spray into my hair, and this is a heat protectant. It's actually got loads of benefits. It's got 25 in total, but I'm going to make sure all of that's sprayed into my hair so it's nice and protected before we apply any more heat to it. It's time to start sectioning the hair, and the first section I take is where the top of my ears are, and I grab all of the hair at the top and tie it up. I generally just use a clip like this one and just keep everything away, and then I start working on curling all of the sections. I try to keep the section as straight as possible, and this really helps with making sure you're not missing any strands whilst you're curling your hair. I split that section of hair in half, and then it's time to start actually curling the strands. The curler that I like to use is this one right here. This is from Mark Hill, and the reason why I like it is because it's got an extra long barrel, and I feel like this is great for anyone with long hair like me. So with the first half, I grab a section from the back like this, and I don't measure them or anything. I just kind of feel like if this is the kind of vibe that I want. It's generally around about this thick. The thinner you make them, the tighter the curls will be, and the thicker you make them, the more like loose and like wavy that they'll be. And seeing as this is more of like a wavy look, I try to take a decent amount, like this much. Not too thick and not too thin. When it comes to curling, I curl up the barrel every time. So up like this, up until I've finished, and then I hold it here for at least 10 seconds, I'd say. And then once it's been around about 10 seconds, all I do is I untwist it very slightly, and then I grab the curl into my hand and give it a bit of a squeeze like this, so it's kind of staying in place, and then I spray it with some hairspray. And then all I do is I take this curl and flick it to the back. And now I'm going to do the same thing to this section. I'm going to split it in half. I feel like this is a good size. Going over the barrel. And I make sure that every single strand I get goes over the barrel, not under, because this is going to make sure all of the waves are going kind of out of my face rather than closing my face in. Then I unravel it out of the barrel, give it a nice little crunch in my hand, give it a spray, and then flick it to the back. And now doing the exact same thing to this side, and just like that, this whole side is curled. Sometimes I do get a little bit extra hairspray, give it another little spray, and then it's time to work on this section. So I'm using the exact same technique of wrapping the hair up and over the barrel, not starting off underneath. I'm always making sure going up and over the barrel, and make sure I'm holding it for at least 10 seconds before letting it go, crunching it in my hand, and also applying some hairspray. It's really important that you use a hairspray that doesn't leave any residue in your hair, because we are going to be combing it out towards the end. So the first section of hair is all curled. I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like this. They're very like strandy, but it's okay. That's the vibe that we want. And then I take another clip and clip all of this hair away like this. And now that that's clipped away, it's time to work on the next section. I like my next section to start where my eyebrows end, so I take a really straight line, as straight as I can get it, take all of the hair up and tie it up away with a clip, and then it's time to move on to the second section for curling. So with this section, I make another split at the back of my hair, and split my hair into two. And here I'm going to use the exact same technique as I used on my first section of hair. You basically want to repeat this all throughout this section, both halves, make sure everything is nice and curled, that every single section is scrunched in your hand and also hairsprayed as well. And this is going to allow the curls to set in a sense, and it's also going to create some beautiful waves at the end of it. So make sure all of this section is done, and then it's time to move on to the third section. So once the second section is fully curled, it is time to clip that away as well before we move on to the third section. To make the third section, I basically like to create a long rectangle shape on the crown bit of my hair, like you can see me doing here. And you can see the shape in my parting, and then I like to tie that up. And then I like to work on the section of hair that's already out. And this is like my third section before I move on to the final one. And again, for this section, I want to do the exact same technique for this entire part of my hair. First, putting it in half and then working from backwards to front on both halves of my hair, making sure all the pieces are really nicely curled. There's enough heat on them, there's enough hairspray on them, there's enough crunching going on. And then once that's done, I'll show you the last section and what kind of technique I like to use there. Once the third section is all curled and pinned away, it is time to move on to the final section. So for this, I take the clip out and I draw a line in my parting so that it looks something like this. Now I'm growing up my silver hairs, which is probably why you can see quite a lot of them, but it's okay. I have got these into two halves, and I'm going to work my way from back to front on each section using that same exact technique again, but making sure that the front sections, especially the front four sections, are as neat and as exactly how I want them to be for the final look. All of my hair is curled, and I know it looks a little bit like Medusa vibes, like you can see the ringlets in chunks, but this is exactly how you need it. So what I like to do next to really let these sit and set into place is, as you can tell, I've got no makeup on at the moment, so I will go and paint my face, let this sit for about at least 20 to 30 minutes. Usually what I do is, before I leave the house for whatever event I'm going to, I will do the final step minutes before we leave. So I'm gonna quickly go and paint my face, and then I'll show you what that final secret step is to lock everything in place and to transform these into Hollywood waves. Right, and just like that, my makeup is all done. I'm actually going out today, so I'm all dressed up, and this is the final step for this hair. So I clipped it back slightly as I was doing my makeup, and as you can tell, it's still bitty, if you know what I mean, like it's still in chunks. But the trick is to use a comb like this. So this is like a wide tooth comb. I'm pretty sure there's like a professional name for this guy, but I'm just gonna call it like a wide tooth comb for the time being. And what you wanna do is start from the bottom and just start combing the curls out. And it creates this beautiful, like Hollywood waves. So I'm gonna show you the difference between the two. This is this side that isn't been combed, and this is this side that has been combed. You can see a difference. It's all nice and smooth. You can pop a hair oil into it if you want to, but I'm gonna very quickly do the same thing to this side. And this is the Hollywood waves. It's very, very easy to do once you get the technique down and the more you practice. I'd love to see your guys' recreations if you do end up using this technique. Please don't forget to tag me in your photos on Instagram. You can even DM the pictures to me, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this little video. If there's anything that I forgot to mention, it will be listed in the description box, as will all the products that I've used. And yeah, I think that's everything from me. I'm sending all of the love and the light from my heart to you guys, and I'll hopefully see you all in my next video.